Good morning. This is Amy from Humility and Doxology and my kiddos. And we thought it might be fun to give you a little sneak peek into our morning time routine. If you're watching this video before October 30th, make sure that you sign up for the live Crowdcast event that Lena Sutherland at Homeschooling Without Training Wheels has set up. She'll be interviewing me all about creating a custom morning time DIY morning time plan for your family. And if you're watching this after that, you can still catch the replay. I'll make sure to put the link in the description here with the video. I'm also going to have something that you can print and follow along if you want to participate with this morning time. So pause the video and gather your materials if you'd like to participate, or just watch our real life here. We have already prayed to begin our morning time, so we're going to start by reading a brief Bible story. We are in part 2 from the Child's Story Bible by Catherine Voss. And this story is called A Jewish Girl Becomes Queen. On the 7th day of the feast, King Ahasuerus, who had drunk far too much wine, sent 7 of his servants into the hall where the queen was entertaining the women. He told the servants to bring the queen out to the garden wearing the royal crown on her head so that the people and the princes might see her beauty. If the king had not been drunk, he would never have made this demand. He would have known that the queen was too modest to come out into the garden with her face uncovered to be stared at by the crowd of men. Do you remember from the story yesterday that was something that was not considered appropriate in their culture?
I didn't.
Yeah. The servants came back and reported that Queen Vashti had refused to come out with them. The king was furiously angry. He consulted his 7 wise men and asked, "What shall be done to the Queen Vashti because she refused to obey the king's command?" Everyone was desperately afraid of the king, for he had the power to strike off the head of anyone who did not please him.
Why did he strike off the head?
Oh, because he could do that, because he was the king. His servants trembled. He was a boy, yes. His servants trembled whenever they saw him in a drunken temper. Therefore, the 7 wise men, although they knew the queen was right, tried to soothe the king by agreeing with him that she deserved punishment. They said, "The queen has done wrong, not only to the king, but to all the princes and the people as well. All the ladies of Media and Persia will refuse to obey their husbands when they hear of this. Oh. If it please the king, let him make a royal decree, saying that Vashti shall be queen no longer because she has disobeyed. Let the king give the crown to another lady who is more obedient than she. When all the people of the kingdom hear how Vashti has been punished, then all the wives everywhere will obey their husbands." King Ahasuerus was pleased with this advice. To all parts of the empire, he sent letters written in the common language of the country, saying, "Every man shall be ruler in his own house by order of the king." The servants then said to the king, "Let officers be appointed in all the provinces of the kingdom. Let them gather together the most beautiful young girls of the empire. Let these girls be brought to the palace, and the maiden which pleases the king shall be queen instead of Vashti." The king thought this was a good idea. He commanded his servants to begin to hunt everywhere for lovely young girls. Now it so happened that in the city of Shushan there lived a Jew named Mordecai, who had a beautiful young cousin, Esther. Since her father and mother were dead, Mordecai had brought her up as his own daughter. Esther was chosen as one of the young girls who were brought to the palace so that the king might pick a new queen from among them. She did not mention that she was a Jew. Many girls from all parts of the empire were brought to Shushan. After living in the palace for a while, each one appeared before the king. When Esther finally came before Ahasuerus, he loved her more than all the others. He set the royal crown on her head and made her queen in the place of Vashti. Every day Mordecai walked before the court of the women's house and sat in the palace gate to find out how Esther was. While he lingered about the palace, he discovered a plot which 2 servants had made to kill the king. Mordecai told Esther what he had heard so that she might warn Ahasuerus. The plot was proved and the 2 men were hanged. What Mordecai had done was written down in the records of the kings of Media and Persia. But the king forgot to reward the man who had saved his life. And that is the end of that section. What do you think is going to happen to Queen Esther?
He's going to cut her head off.
Oh, you think he's going to cut her head off? Well, we'll have to wait and find out what happens next, won't we? Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe he would cut her head off.
Oh, dear. Okay. Turn to Isaiah 53, please. You guys are on the dark print today.
Okay.
Isaiah 53. Who has believed our report, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed?
For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He has no form or comeliness, and when we see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
He is despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we did not esteem him.
Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted.
But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed.
All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all.
He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He was led as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he opened not his mouth.
He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who will declare his generation? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgressions of my people he was stricken.
Okay, hold on just 1 minute. Isaac, you're still hungry. Do you have any food left in your bowl from breakfast?
No.
Would you like a banana? You may have a banana, otherwise you're going to have to wait. Would you like a banana? Yes, please, or no, thank you. You want to think about it for a minute? We're going to finish this verse, and then I'll get you a banana if you would like. Let's see, are we on verse 9?
Okay.
We're going to finish this passage, and then I'll get you a banana. After we're done, wait patiently.
No.
And they made his grave with the wicked. Yes. No, you have to wait. You know that, Isaac. And they made his grave with the wicked, but with the rich at his death, because he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth.
Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He has put him to grief. When you make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand.
He shall see the labor of his soul and be satisfied. By his knowledge my righteous servant shall justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities.
Therefore I will divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bore the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
Turn to our John passages, and we're on the Latin Luke. John 1, 1 through 5 in Latin. In principio erat verbum, et verbum erat apud Deum, et Deus erat verbum. Hoc erat in principio apud Deum. Omnia per ipsum facta sunt, et sine ipso factum est, nihil quod factum est. In ipso vita erat, et vita erat lux hominum. Et lux in tenebris lucet, et tenebrae eam non comprehenderunt. Lovely. Okay, we're going to review our root words. Let's review the old ones, and then we're actually moving on to our first Latin root today. All right, so photos, light. Graph,
Write or draw.
to write or draw. Telly.
Far away, distant.
Oh, good. You can put that on the counter. Metron.
Measure.
Tropos.
Turning.
Philia.
Love, friendship.
Phobos.
Fear.
Sin.
With, together.
Thesis.
Put, place, position.
Kinesis.
Movement.
Yes, movement. Phone.
Sound.
Sound. That was the last one we did, right? Or
Yes.
okay. So today, our new one. Now, all of these are green for Greek, right? Yes, they have a green border. Our new root today has a red border, which tells us it's from Latin. This is sonus, sound. Sonus, sound. All right, what are some derivatives you think we might get from the Latin word sonus?
Sun.
Not sun. Actually, if you notice, if you moved the U to this side of the N and took off the S, it actually looks kind of like the English word sound, doesn't it? It has those same letters. So sound is actually vibrations perceived by our ears, and it comes from this root.
Sonar.
Okay, a device that hears sound underwater, yes. How about a consonant? Con means with. So it's the speech sounds made with your lips, tongues, or teeth. The consonant. Can you think of a musical term? A type of musical composition that may come from sonus?
Sonata.
Sonata, very good. An instrumental, not vocal, musical composition with 3 or 4 movements. How about a type of poem?
A sonnet.
A sonnet, yes, is a form of rhyming Italian poetry. And I have never heard of this word before. Sonavox. New Latin scholars. Vocus is what? Voice. So sono from sound, vox from voice. A sonovox is a machine that makes sound effect voices. A sonovox. All right. So sonus, sound.
Sonus, sound.
Very good. All right. And then next, we're going to go right back to a Greek root. But at least we have one red card now.
Red card.
Red card. All right. In our memory loop, please turn to Patrick Henry's speech. And we are going to read page 1 today. All right, ready? Patrick Henry, St. John's Church, Richmond, Virginia, March 23rd, 1775. Mr. President, no man thinks more highly than I do of the patriotism, as well as abilities of the very worthy gentlemen who have just addressed the House. But different men often see the same subject in different lights, and therefore I hope it will not be thought disrespectful to those gentlemen if, entertaining as I do, opinions of a character very opposite to theirs, I shall speak forth my sentiments freely and without reserve. This is no time for ceremony. The question before the House is one of awful moment to this country. For my own part, I consider it as nothing less than a question of freedom or slavery, and in proportion to the magnitude of the subject ought to be the freedom of the debate. It is only in this way that we can hope to arrive at truth and fulfill the great responsibility which we hold to God and our country. Should I keep back my opinions at such a time through fear of giving offense, I should consider myself as guilty of treason towards my country, and of an act of disloyalty toward the majesty of heaven, which I revere above all earthly kings. Mr. President, it is natural to man to indulge in the illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against the painful truth, and listen to the song of that siren till she transforms us into beasts. Is this the part of wise men engaged in a great and arduous struggle for liberty?
Are we disposed to be of the number of those who, having eyes, see not, and having ears, hear not, the things which so nearly concern their temporal salvation? For my part, whatever anguish of spirit it may cost, I am willing to know the whole truth, to know the worst, and to provide for it. I have but one lamp by which my feet are guided, and that is the lamp of experience. I know of no way of judging of the future but by the past. And judging by the past, I wish to know what there has been in the conduct of the British ministry for the last 10 years to justify those hopes with which gentlemen have been pleased to solace themselves and the House. Is it that insidious smile with which our petition has been lately received? Trust it not, sir. It will prove a snare to your feet. Suffer not yourselves to be betrayed with a kiss. Ask yourselves how this gracious reception of our petition comports with these warlike preparations which cover our waters and darken our land. Are fleets and armies necessary to a work of love and reconciliation? Have we shown ourselves so unwilling to be reconciled that force must be called in to win back our love? Let us not deceive ourselves, sir. These are the implements of war and subjugation, the last arguments to which kings resort. I ask, gentlemen, sir, what means this martial array if its purpose be not to force us into submission? Can gentlemen assign any other possible motive for it? Has Great Britain any enemy in this quarter of the world to call for all this accumulation of navies and armies? No, sir, she has none. They are meant for us. They can be meant for no other. They are sent over to bind and rivet upon us those chains which the British ministry have been so long forging. And what have we to oppose to them? Shall we try argument? Sir, we have been trying that for the last 10 years. Have we anything new to offer upon the subject? Nothing. We have held the subject up in every light of which it is capable, but it has been all in vain.
All right, so tomorrow we will finish that and review it. All right, in conclusion, let's sing our first stanza of What Can Wash Away My Sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. You turn to your hymn. All right, stanza 1. What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm going to stop the video and we're going to conclude our morning time with prayer. I hope that this has given you a peek into how it can be pretty simple and fun and full of delight. And I would love to hear your thoughts on morning time in your home. Have a lovely week.